In the beginning of the manhwa, we see a cold night where a skilled assassin Rayon reports to his master Daruth Robert. Rayon got the news that today he will be killed by this man. Daruth appreciates Rayon for working in the shadows as Shadow Chief. He says because of Rayon's work their family is growing in power faster. Then Daruth asks Rayon that does a shadow needs freedom. Rayon replies that the shadow's duty is to follow the master's order, and they should not involve their feelings or thoughts. Then Daruth aggressively asks him that why he acted on his own and how he undone the brainwashing. The brainwashing method is used by Robert family to control their assassination organization called Shadow. They kidnap or buy children and make them work as assassins their entire lives, which means they turn these children into their loyal pet dogs. But Rayon coincidentally frees himself from brainwashing. Rayon asks him how did he know about this. Daruth says they have placed 2 collars on them. He snaps his fingers and Rayon starts coughing blood. He feels a tremendous pain in his chest. Daruth says it's called rage worm. He planted an insect in their assassin's body which will eat away their heart on his command. It also lets him look into the emotions of the slaves. Rayon is enraged by knowing this information. Rayon remembers that he was kidnapped at a very young age which he doesn't even remember. Then he was raised as the Robert family's pet dog. He lived his entire life in shadows without any emotions. Coincidentally, he learned a fire's ring breathing technique. Because of this his brainwashing was undone. He thought he could obtain freedom now, but instead he met with his death. Rayon is furious and does not accept such a pitiful death. He thinks if he is going to die anyway, at least he will take Daruth's arm or maybe give him some injury. He begins to charge at him, but Daruth slices Rayon's body. Rayon falls down and is about to die, but we see Rayon has landed an attack on Daruth. Daruth doesn't even remember the last time he got injured. He commands the other assassins to get rid of him. Daruth is considered the strongest martial artist on the continent, and Rayon is very weak compared to him. He is upset that he has lived that meaningless life. His anger starts to pile up and he asks someone to help him take his revenge. He doesn't care if it's God or the devil. He just wants to take his revenge. Miraculously, a blue light comes in front of him which says that he was chosen by the rage. The rage was almost going to possess his body, but he dies before that process is completed. Now we see a beautiful lady playing with her boy. Yes, you guessed it right, this cute little boy is reincarnation of that deadly assassin Rayon. Rayon tells us that this woman who is playing with her is Sylvia, who is his mom. Rayon still has all his previous life's memories. At first, he thought it is a never-ending dream, but with time he accepted that this was his new life. Sylvia tells him that when the patriarch will be back he will name him. Rayon thinks the patriarch must be a really busy man because he hasn't seen him for more than 100 days. Rayon didn't know much, but he knows that he has reincarnated in a pretty renowned family, and his goal is to take his revenge, and he is waiting patiently for it. Suddenly the maid comes running to Sylvia and informs her that the patriarch is coming. Sylvia is shocked to know that her father is coming, and Rayon realizes that the patriarch of the family is his grandfather. The tension in the room increases rapidly as the patriarch steps in. It seems that Rayon recognized this man and was shocked to know that he is his grandfather now. This man is Glenn Sieghart, the zenith of this continent, Northern King of Annihilation. Rayon realizes that he has reincarnated in the most powerful family on the continent. Glenn names his grandson Rayon, the one who lives like a shadow. What an ironic fate. He got the same name as his past life. At night Rayon wakes up and is happy to see he is alone. These last 100 days Sylvia was always next to him. He starts to do the fire ring's malleability which he learned in his previous life. This technique is best to become a martial artist. By using this fire's ring he can grow his mentality and body. And if he also obtained the Sieghart's family's swordsmanship, then taking his revenge on Daruth Robert will be easy. Soon Rayon realizes that his body's mana circuit is filled with freezing energy. Around 9 places are blocked, which is really bad for him because he can even die from this. The only thing he can do to survive is to have a breakthrough in the fire's ring. But because of his weak body he loses consciousness and falls asleep. At that time Glenn comes to see him and do something to his body. The next day Rayon was playing with Sylvia, but his body is so weak that he cannot even play like normal kids. Soon a saint comes to see Sylvia. Rayon recognizes the saint, who is a saint of rags, who is the most famous physician in the continent. But the saint is too friendly with Sylvia and even plays with Rayon. He is shocked to learn that Glenn has named her boy Rayon. Rayon knows the saint and the king are best friends. Saint checks Rayon's body and finds out that Rayon has a bitter cold curse. If he doesn't get treated concurrently he won't live for long. Sylvia is stunned by hearing this. Saint was about to give some prescription, but the maid informs him that the patriarch wanted to meet him. When the saint leaves, Sylvia starts to cry. She doesn't want to lose Rayon. She cries to herself and tells Rayon that she will make him better at any cost. When Rayon hears this, his heart aches. He couldn't understand the emotions he is having. The only thing he knows is that he doesn't want Sylvia to cry. With his tiny little hands, he wipes Sylvia's tears and calls her mummy for the first time. Then we see Sylvia barges in the room where Saint and King were talking. She goes on her knees and begs them to save his boy. She begs that Rayon is the only thing she has and she cannot lose him. Glenn responds rudely. Why should he save someone who will not contribute to the family? He reminds her that even after she runned away from the family, he has still given that kid Sieghart's family name. This is the most he will do for them. After that, he removes her from the room. But we see Glenn is not as heartless as he shows. He asks the Saint about Rayon's condition. Saint informs him that 9 of his mana circuits are blocked. Last night, Glenn removed some air with his aura, that's why Rayon will be fine for some time. But he won't be able to become a martial artist. To this, Glenn responds it's fine as long as his grandson is alive. Glenn tells us that the name Rayon does not only mean shadow. 1,000 years ago it has another meaning to it too. Then we see Sylvia feed Rayon some medicine that the Saint has provided. Although the medicine was bitter, still Rayon asks for more. Sylvia is happy that Rayon understands her emotions and she hugs him. Rayon knows this medicine will help push the air out of his circuit, that's why he ate that. Soon the 2-year period passes and now Rayon has achieved 1-star Ring of Fire. It took less time because of the constant training and the medicine. A few more years passes by and now Rayon is 5 years old. We see his status that he has achieved a 2nd Ring of Fire as well. Because of this fire ring, his mana senses have become stronger too. We see that other than him no one can see Rayon's message window. This system confirms his current status. Although his stamina and all had increased, he still had his bitter cold curse in him. During this period of 5 years, Sylvia and the maid Helen had taken care of him like a prince. Due to the curse and low stamina, he can't move much. But once he masters this fire rings, those weaknesses will go away. And if he learns the Sieghart's swordsmanship, he will be able to take his revenge. Rayon knows that Daruth is one strong man, so he will wait for the right moment to kill him. One day Sylvia comes to Rayon and tells him to get ready to go to the main building. Rayon knows Sieghart's family belongs to the 6 emperors and the 5 demons threaten the peace of the continent. There are other powers too, and there is a judgment ceremony done to see if those powers are good or bad. Today is Sieghart's judgment ceremony. There were many people present for the ceremony, and as soon as Sylvia entered they started to gossip and treat her as an outcast. Everyone was talking bad about her and her kid Rayon. They say that Rayon inherited the blood of a loser who was a commoner. Rayon thinks he doesn't care if they were only talking bad about him. But he can't listen to things again. Her mother Sylvia. Sylvia turns to Rayon and tells him that everything is okay. Then King Glenn Siegard enters and with just a tap of a finger brings the Sword of Judgment. The judgment ceremony begins with Baron Sieghart. He touches the Sword of Judgment and a bright green light is emitted from it which indicates wind. This is a great attribute for a swordsman. Then Runan Sleon goes for judgment, then a bright blue light is emitted. Everyone is happy to see her mana purification. Rayon knows although he has reached 2 fire rings but his mana circuit is still blocked. In some time his turn comes and all people are agitated to see him. Rayon touches the sword and a golden light is emitted. He sees a flash scene of a hero who is standing in front of monsters. Rayon doesn't know what's going on or who this man is. With one swing the hero destroys all monsters around him. Rayon gets his consciousness back and sees the light didn't even reach the halfway mark and everyone is laughing at him. They didn't see the golden glow but only witnessed a low powerless white glow. The king is also in some thoughts. The only one happy is Sylvia, who tells him he did well. People try to insult them but the king orders them to stay silent. He declares the ceremony is over and tells all to leave. When the king is alone we see that even he has seen the golden light which was like the sun, which is the aura of the first Sieghart. This is the firepower that could even melt the flames of the demonic realm. By remembering those golden flames, Glenn thinks who in the world is Rayon. Now we see 7 years have passed since the first judgment ceremony. Now Rayon has turned 12 years old, and he is about to reach 3 fire rings. The coldness in his body has disappeared but it's still hard for him to move, although it's much better than before. We see Sylvia tell him to be ready to go to the second judgment ceremony. The second judgment ceremony ends earlier than expected. King Glenn asks Rayon to come forward. King furiously asks him why he hasn't started to attend the training yet. Rayon is unaware of what the king is saying. Soon Sylvia intervenes and tells King that Rayon is different from others. His body can't even endure basic training. King doesn't listen to her and orders Rayon to start the training. She asks the king to give her some time, after which she will leave this family again. King shut her up and tells her on this land she has to live in the way of Sieghart's family, or she has to leave right now. All the people in the hall start to gossip again and insult Sylvia. Rayon understands that Sylvia is treated as an outcast because she has broken her own energy core and destroyed her mana circuit, and then left the family. She did that to marry Rayon's father, but his father died during her pregnancy, so she had no choice but to come back to the family. This was the reason everyone treated her so badly. But now Rayon is her son and he cannot watch her being treated like this. He moves towards the king and tells him he will attend training from next month, and he will live up to the Sieghart name. Seeing his courage, the king tries to intimidate him. Rayon coughs blood just by the intimidating aura of the king. He feels like his heart is being crushed right now, and he understands that the king is much more powerful than Robert. The current martial hall master tries to calm down King, but the king makes him apologize just by his angry stares. Rayon remembers that in the past he was someone who used to live in the shadows and was always close to death, but now he will not hide in darkness. He will move on from his past, which was assassin Rayon, and become Rayon Sieghart and protect Sylvia at any cost. Rayon tells the king he was raised separately, so he doesn't know how popular the Sieghart family is, so he can only learn this by training. He decided to protect the smile of people who are precious to him. Rayon loses his consciousness and falls to the ground. He is determined to become stronger and show everyone what he can do. After some time, a servant tells all the things that happened to Karan Sieghart, who is an intermediate marital hall master and son of the king. Even he is curious to know how Rayon endured his father's aura. He knows even Sylvia was more talented than anyone and places a maid to keep an eye on Rayon. Then we see King Glenn visit the 5th training hall and meet Limer, who is known as the Brilliant Sword. He is the head instructor. He asks King frankly that did he come to talk about Rayon. He tells him Sylvia has come before him and told him to make sure Rayon doesn't get injured in training. The head instructor tells the king that he will not make any exceptions even if Rayon is his youngest grandson. The king says it's fine, do not lessen the intensity of his training. The head instructor starts to tease the king and says he really loves his grandson. King gets annoyed and tells him to do whatever he wants and leave from there. At Rayon's home, we see he has finally achieved the 3rd fire ring and he feels lots stronger now. He promises himself that he will become more stronger so that he can make all the people shut up who are mocking him or Sylvia. And after that, he will take his revenge by killing the Sword Saint Daruth Robert. Sylvia comes to Rayon's room and tells him she wants to talk to him before he goes to training. She says that she wants to stop him from going to training. Rayon tells her no, he cannot stand it when someone of direct or indirect bloodline mocks Sylvia. He believes if he does well in training then no one will dare to treat her badly. Sylvia is moved by his words. She tells him her story. She fell in love with his father during a mission, but it was difficult to be with him because he was just a normal knight. So that's why she shut down her energy core and mana circuits and left the family. She reveals that Rayon actually had an older sister too. She was 2 years older than Rayon. Her name was Ja. They were living peaceful lives, but one day Eden's executive attacked on them. She was pregnant with him and Rayon's father was not that strong. Things were not in their favor, but Rayon's father had hired some guards without Sylvia's knowledge. But by the time the guards arrived, Rayon's father and sister were already dead. Sylvia was heartbroken and the only thing she could do was to come back to the family. That's why here she is treated like a sinner. Rayon understands her situation. Even he thinks the thing she did was selfish. She threw her responsibilities in the name of love and came back crawling to be saved. But Sylvia is the one who has given him a new life and showed him affection for the first time. Even if the whole world calls her selfish, for him she is the only mother he had in both lives. Rayon asks her did she regrets leaving the family for his father. Sylvia replies she doesn't. She has lived like she was invisible in the family, no one cared for her. But when she was with his father she felt like a real human being and that was enough for her. She says she was happy then as well as she is happy now. She says she is just sorry because she became such a bad mother. Rayon says it's fine. He is fine so she doesn't need to worry about it. Rayon smiles at her and decides that he will get his revenge later. First, he will help Sylvia regain her position in the family. Sylvia starts to cry hearing Rayon's words. Now at night Rayon sits down to train. He was training his 3rd fire ring, then suddenly a blue aura came in front of him and he said it's finally my time. It gives an evil smile and tells Rayon that Rayon's rage has reached him. He introduced himself as the 2nd Lord of the Demon Realm. Rayon is confused and shocked to see him. The demon is about to tell Rayon he has to sacrifice his soul and body, but he sees that Rayon is just a child. The demon thinks the rage that has reached him was very strong and can't be of some child. But the demon has no choice now and he says Rayon to give his soul and body to him. And then he will help Rayon to take his revenge. Rayon realizes that the demon is here because of his rage towards Daruth. Still, Rayon says he doesn't want his help and he will take his revenge on his own. The demon gives an evil smile and tells him that he has already made his decision, and he is going to take his body no matter what. The demon charges toward Rayon and goes inside his body. Rayon feels that the temperature in his body is decreasing and he feels his mind is freezing too. The demon tries to take control of Rayon's mind and body and says even if he wants to take revenge on God, still he will help him. Rayon still doesn't give up and thinks about Sylvia and Maid Helen. He doesn't want this demon to hurt them too. Rayon gets an idea and thinks he can counter the demon's ice attack with his fire rings technique. This is the only option he has to survive. Demon is shocked to see a human kid is able to counter his attack. And then Rayon tells him again that he will take his revenge on his own, and he will not let anyone take control of his body. Rayon is able to counter his attack, but he knows that the demon has just been awakened, and this is why the demon doesn't have his full power yet. Suddenly the status window appears and Rayon asks the demon, "Do you know anything about this?" Demon is annoyed and says he was the one who created this window for quicker progress. Rayon realizes that it's because of this window he was able to cultivate rings of fire so easily. Then Rayon tries to hit the demon aura with his mana, and the demon is getting more annoyed by him. Rayon noticed that no one came even after so much noise. It only meant one thing, only Rayon could see this demon lord. The demon goes near Rayon's hand and turns himself into a bracelet. Devil tells him that currently he does not have his full power, but soon he will regain it. Till then he will stick to Rayon and take his body when the right time comes. Rayon wants to remove this bracelet right now, but he thinks after removing this bracelet the demon might go after Sylvia or Helen. He decided to keep this demon close to him to keep an eye on him. The next day we see Sylvia and Helen are a bit tense. They are worried about how Rayon will do in the academy. Then Rayon comes down and greets them. Outside, Sylvia tries her best to encourage Rayon and tells him that she believes in him. Then Rayon bids farewell to them. It's really tough for Sylvia to see Rayon go like this. After some time we see all the students gather around the 5th training hall. Rayon sees that all these kids are from the Ziegart family and a few recommended students from Vassal or other families too. 2 kids start to make fun of Rayon and call him weak. Rayon notices them. He is not afraid of them and confronts them. He calls them mosquitoes and tells them to talk in his face. This makes them furious and Roan tells them they are not even from a direct bloodline. This kid goes ahead and grabs Rayon's collar, and we see a furious look in Rayon's eyes, but before Rayon do something this other boy tells them to stop. This guy is Byrne Ziegart from direct bloodline. Both the boys stop and apologize to Byrne. Byrne goes in front of Rayon and tells him that he should know his place. He is no more than a dust here. If he wants to stay here he should lay low. Byrne tells him to get out of here if he is not going to behave well. Byrne mocks him and says there is no way he is going to pass. But Rayon is not afraid of him, and tells him why he is speaking bullshit over here. He tells him that he is just a direct lineage. Other than this he has no authority. He tells Byrne that he is not even a trainee, so he has no right to talk to him like this. Rayon mocks him and tells him to go hide behind your father. Byrne is furious and is about to attack him. At this movement, the brilliant sword, Limer, comes here, and he is excited to see the students are about to fight. He tells them to hold off the fight till the end of the entrance ceremony. Seeing Limer here, Byrne goes away. Limer gives his introduction and says that he is the head instructor. He smiles and says there are too many students this year, so he is going to cut down the number with a test. And he is going to turn down the number to a quarter. All the kids are shocked to hear this. The headmaster sits on a chair and brags that his word is the law here and even the patriarch cannot interfere here. Now the headmaster jokingly tells the kid to start running. He tells them the basics of martial arts are physical strength and mental power. The Rage tells Rayon to go run in front of others, not back here. But Rayon is smart and tells Rage that this is not a competition. He just has to run, not win from anyone. Rayon knows the winner will be the one who will endure till last. We see Sir Burin and Lady Runnin are at the front. But the master knows even though they are in front, this is not their top speed, which means they can keep running for hours. Then the examiners see Rayon, who is in the back all the time. He is not even able to run properly. They think he is already sick, he will fall soon. But the headmaster is interested in him. He thinks he has never seen a child run like that. Limer is an elf. He tells us that he can see the power level of all humans except the strongest of the continent. He can see the future of most of the kids here. But for Rayon, he can't see anything. This means Rayon is stronger than the headmaster and beyond his reach. The kids laugh at Rayon, saying that he wouldn't even last 10 minutes and fall soon. But Rayon is determined and keeps running. He remembers in a past life he used to run from starving beasts by keeping his life on the line. So just running like this is way easy for him. The headmaster is shocked to see him run. He knows that Rayon has exhausted all his stamina long ago. It's not even possible for him to run now, but he is still running. He has the mentality like a person who is running for their life. Burin knows about Raon's bitter cold curse and he is angry to see him still run despite his weak body. He gets frustrated by everyone and decides to show all what he can do. He uses his aura and goes all the way ahead of everyone. Raon sees Burin and Runin and feels that Runin is more mentally mature than Burin. After a while, even these boys get tired and sit on the ground. But Raon is still running. Other kids think doesn't he get tired. But we see Raon feel like he is going to die because of the cold inside of his body, and he thinks his heart would stop any moment. But still, Raon is not stopping and thinks this is a great for improving his fire rings. But suddenly we see the Rage come in front of him and say he is too weak now. Rage thinks it's the right moment to get control of Raon's body. He uses his freezing power and Raon feels tremendous pain but he still endures it. Raon is about to fall and Runin notices him. But before Raon fall, the headmaster announces them to stop. Raon thinks he was about to die, and we see Lady Runin is always noticing Raon. We see Raon smile. He has improved his physical strength because of the status window, and suddenly a notification pops up that he has got some extra XP for surpassing his physical limits. The Demon Lord is furious to see this. Then the headmaster congratulates everyone and tells them they did well. Then he claims that he was lying about letting only a quarter in. He says he can't fail so many students on the first day. But then all of a sudden the headmaster tells in anger that if they keep the same result most of them will indeed fail. And this makes everyone speechless. The headmaster scolds everyone and tells them that most of them didn't run at their full speed. But only one student ran well. Limer says he has even noticed one guy has also used his aura which was not allowed. Limer claims that if they do what he says then they won't fail the test. And now all students will be considered as provisional trainees. And after 6 months there will be a test and from that test, he is going to pick a top trainee. Then the headmaster goes to meet the Patriarch. Patriarch was standing near the cliff and was watching the exam. Then the headmaster tells him about how he cannot see anything about Raon's future and power. Limers is excited to learn more and more about Raon. Then Patriarch tells him to focus on training and he says it's just a coincidence that he cannot become a martial artist. But Limer states that it's very evident that it was not a coincidence. Here we see Raon is thinking about doing more training. And obviously, these kids are annoyed by him because they cannot believe that Raon, who is such a weak boy, ran more than them and defeated them. They conclude that he must have cheated somehow. This boy, who is Crane Zeekhart, claims that Raon has some kind of miracle medicine that is given by the Saint of Rags. Crane turns these kids against the main lead. Now they go and pick a fight with Raon. They shout at him and say that he was able to run that much only because of that miracle medicine. They say this was a cheap trick, and Raon thinks that they are stupid after all they are still kids. Crane was about to punch Raon but Raon attacked him before he can do anything, and brutally punch him till he falls. Here we see the horrifying side of Raon. He easily beat up the other two boys too. And here Rage becomes the fangirl of Raon by 7 this. After a lot of beating, Crane goes on his knees and says sorry to Raon. Raon steps on his hand and asks him was Burin is involved in this too. Did Burin made them do this? To this Crane denies. Raon is in thoughts because he has expected that Burin hates him. After this Raon gives them a terrifying look and tells them to forget about all this. Here we see the headmaster was witnessing this and was hiding behind the tree. He feels that Raon was like Patriarch when he was young. And now his curiosity increases more for Raon Zeekhart. Then we see the Demon Lord give an offer to Raon. He tells Raon to bet on something and if he wins, he will give more XP to him, but if Raon loses then Raon has to take 10% of his rage. They bet on becoming the top trainees among all students. Raon finds this interesting and asks him about the rage penalty. Demon Lord explains that in rage penalty, Raon will get the emotion of rage that he possesses. He claims that 10% is nothing, but with enough rage Raon will lose control of himself. Raon thinks about it and finds this offer really good. Now Raon accepts the offer and thinks if he uses his past life experience then he can become a top trainee. The next day we see all the kids are tired because of training. The headmaster has told them to do horse riding pose. He claims that doing this is very important. He tells them to remain in this position until he tells them to stop. The headmaster says he is not forcing anyone. If anyone who wants to leave can go. Some kids find this training not important and Burin is one of them. They go from there and think about doing some basic swordsmanship. Raon thinks that he needs basic physical strength more than sword training. Raon trains really hard and focuses on training his body for now. We see Lady Runin from the vassal family is still keeping an eye on Raon. She thinks Raon is improving fast despite having that bitter cold curse, and he is increasing the amount of weight every day. She is curious about Raon and wants to know more about him. She moves forward and thinks, why is he here? She was staring at Rayon. She realizes what she is doing. She gets shy and sits next to him, and she starts to follow everything that Rayon is doing. She feels there is some cool and pleasant scent coming from Rayon's body, which is making her body feel lighter, and because of that, she was able to lift more weight than usual. Rayon asks her does she wants to talk, to which she replies no. Then she still keeps following Rayon. Everyone is annoyed to see this, and even Burin is speechless on this. Burin thinks that Rayon is weak. Even though he is training much, still they both are on different levels. Burin doesn't know what the test is going to be, but he thinks doing sword training is way better than physical training. Then we see this green-haired guy who introduces himself as Dorian to Rayon. He asks Rayon if he can train with him. Rayon doesn't care much and agrees. Here we see a new friendship is in making. Dorian gives a cookie to Rayon. Rayon looks at Ronan and realizes that she is staring at the cookie. Her eyes were stuck on it, that's why Rayon gave it to her. She is happy to eat this. This is how the three become friends. Time passes by. Rayon and his friends spend this time doing physical training, and Burin has also trained a lot in swordsmanship. Rayon sees all the other guys have skipped this physical training which headmaster has told them to do. Only a handful of students were doing this, and Burin and Ronan were one of them. Now the morning of test day has come. Even parents of all the students have come to see this test. Demon Lord reminds Rayon about their bet. Demon thinks that Rayon is still not as powerful as Burin and Ronan, but Rayon ignores his words. Rayon and Ronan see that Dorian is looking sick. Dorian tells them he is just nervous about the test. Because of this, he wasn't able to sleep the whole night. Dorian was sick and Ronan was enjoying her cookie. To this, Rayon thinks he is surrounded by such odd people. Sylvia and Helen were happy to see Rayon. Sylvia is proud and happy to see Rayon has made some friends here. Soon the Patriarch also comes here, and everyone is shocked to see this because the Patriarch never comes to see the test. The headmaster and Patriarch have a conversation, then they start the test. The headmaster suddenly starts to release the tremendous amount of his aura and tells all of them that this is their test and they all have to make through his aura. He starts to call all the students one by one. The first run-in comes in front. The headmaster explains the aura burst would be of different levels for everyone. If the student has trained their hardest, they will endure it. They will pass the test only if they touch the master's body. Headmaster bursts out his aura and tells Run-In it will be a direct fail if anyone uses their aura to clear this. They have to endure this with their mental power. Run-In struggles a lot, but in the end, she holds the headmaster's hand. The headmaster praises her and tells her she did well. Now it's Dorian's turn. Dorian is too afraid of this test. Even Rayon noticed that the intensity of aura burst was different for each student, which means the headmaster was observing every single child. In the end, we see even Dorian pass the test and grab the master's leg. The headmaster tells him to keep more confidence in his skills. Sometime later, it's Burin's turn. He comes forward. As the headmaster releases his aura, Burin is not able to endure it. He is in shock at how did Run-In and the other kids were able to handle this much aura. The headmaster thinks that Burin is special. He is a lot stronger than many other kids, but he wasted his time learning swordsmanship instead of training his mentality and physical strength. It's difficult for Burin to endure this because he is too much dependent on his aura, but if he uses it now, he will fail. Burin remembers how his father looked at his elder brother and kicked him out. He feels he will be abandoned too if he fails this test. That's why he gives his all to hold the headmaster's legs and pass the test. At last, the headmaster calls Rayon Zieghardt forward. The headmaster releases his aura, which is way brighter than other kids' tests. Even Sylvia and Patriarch notice this. Headmaster claims that Rayon's talent is way above than Burin and Run-In. But now in Rayon's body, he has his current qualities as well as the quality of Rayon the assassin. He is easily able to endure it and push the headmaster back. Everyone is shocked to see this. And here Rayon has a smile on his face. Everyone is confused about how does an ill child who hasn't even learned aura did that. The headmaster is in denial and asks him how did he did that. He claims he was pranking Rayon by releasing much more aura than what he can endure, and still Rayon endured it. After this, headmaster tells everyone that now he will pick the top trainee, and Burin and his father are a bit nervous. At last, the headmaster announces that Rayon is the top trainee in the 5th training hall. Tears of joy start to roll down from Sylvia's eyes after hearing this. But suddenly Burin starts to throw a fit and claims that Rowan is weaker than him in strength and stamina. He cannot accept this decision. He thinks Rayon used some kind of trick to pass the test. Everyone present there starts to believe in Burin's words and thinks that the headmaster is somehow involved in this. Burin points to Rayon and tells him that they should choose the top trainee with a duel. The headmaster smiles and makes fun of Burin for acting like a child. He states the test is over and asks the Patriarch what should they do. The patriarch tells Rayon that people here are not accepting the result. He asks him if he is willing to fight a duel. Rayon firmly denies it and everyone is shocked to hear this. He claims the test is already over and he doesn't want to engage in a duel which doesn't benefit him. The patriarch thinks about this and says that if Rayon wins he will give a bronze plaque to him. This grabs the attention of Rayon. The golden, silver and bronze plaques are rewards given to those who have accomplished something. The higher the quality of material, higher the rewards. Even the bronze plaques have pretty good rewards. And because of this, Rayon agrees to do a duel. Grandmaster tells them that they can't use weapons or aura, they just have to fight with their body. As soon as the duel begins, Burin tries to land an attack on Rayon. But Rayon defended himself. After this, Burin uses a tiger fist technique which was taught to him by his father. Burin remembers that when his father kicked his brother out, he told Burin that he didn't want any weaklings in the family. This is why Burin was giving all his best. Because his father was watching him, that's why he has to prove himself to his father. Here we see Rayon can see everything. He can see the fist, the attack, and everything clearly. Then Rayon uses an uppercut and nullifies Burin's attack. And with his other hand uses the same fist technique on Burin. Everyone is amazed and shocked to see this. Rayon tells him that he just learned this first technique right now by watching Burin do it. No one believes this and thinks Rayon learned this technique secretly. Burin was on his knees and the headmaster was in disbelief. He is sure that Rayon is heavily talented, and one day he can even rule the continent. He declares the match to be over and Rayon wins this duel. Sylvia rushes to Rayon and hugs him. She is so happy to meet him that her tears are not able to stop. Other parents also meet their kids, but Burin's father doesn't look happy and goes away without meeting him. At home, Burin goes to meet his father on his desk. His father scolds him a lot. He was furious on Burin because he has lost to Rayon. Burin is too ashamed. His father tells him he lost his first chance, now he should claim the position of top trainee in the graduation exam. Burin's father tells him to get out of here. Burin is furious on Rayon and decides he will teach him a lesson. He goes to the gym for some exercise and notices no one is there. He sees the locker of Rayon. Burin is curious to know what's inside of it. He is shocked to see there are more than 10 pairs of used shoes here. Rayon has used all of this in just an interval of 6 months, and in the same period Burin has only used 2 pairs. He realizes that every time he has seen Rayon he was always training, while Burin was resting. In that time Rayon was increasing his physical strength. Burin gets sad and realizes that Rayon did nothing wrong, he lost the duel because of his own fault. Now Burin goes out and was determined to win against Rayon in a fair fight. In his room Rayon was checking the status window. All his stats has been increased by 2 because he won the bet. He even gets a special sensory ability on this level. With the help of this he can now sense about 10 times more than his original range. The next day a butler comes at Rayon's home. He tells him the head of the house has summoned him in the palace. Butler tells him the head of the house will award you with a bronze plaque. Now Rayon receives the plaque and the king tells him, in the future when he returns this plaque he can ask for an item or favor that is appropriate for this tablet. Without much thought, Rayon says he will ask for something right now. He asks that what he should do so that Sylvia regains her position of direct line and family again. Patriarch tells him it can be only done when he accomplishes an achievement that is recognized by the whole family. The head of the family claims that this won't be easy to get recognition by all the members of the family. He says for someone like you is nearly impossible. Rayon smiles and says so this is possible. He returns the tablet and thanks the patriarch. Rayon was about to leave but the king stopped him and said that he had just asked a question. He didn't ask for a reward. The king would have answered the question even without the tablet. Rayon thinks he has something in mind. He knows what he wants and tells the patriarch that he needs a cultivation technique. He wants an aura cultivation technique. Rayon thinks the shadow cultivation technique from his previous life is not enough. To take his revenge against Daruth and to regain Sylvia's position in the family he needs an excellent aura. With the snap of his finger King makes a tons of books shelf appear in front of Rayon. King tells him this is one of Sieghart's bookcases. If he raises his hand the book he requires the most will automatically come in his hand. Rayon raises his hand and hopes for something good to appear. Suddenly a bright golden light comes forward and an old book comes out of the shelf. The king and butler are too stunned to see this. It is a 10,000 flame cultivation technique. King became speechless and remembered a scene from his past. In that memory, a servant was informing the king that members of the family are cornering Sylvia, and she is feeling alienated. King claims that this is not important information for him. The most important thing for him is growth of his family right now. After a while he gets another memory when the servant informs him about Sylvia leaving the family for some another man. King tells him not to report such small stuff to him. King says he left his emotions behind and obtained his military might that exceeds the demonic wall. King attained the most powerful family, but he lost something in the process. One day he got the news that his granddaughter and son-in-law were ambushed. He was shocked to know that both of them died and only Sylvia survived. King was heartbroken by hearing this news and he blamed himself for this. That's why now he has decided he will protect Rayon and Sylvia at any cost. Now we see Rayon is confused about what's going on. He feels something is flowing in his head. When the king asks, Rayon tells him that he remembers the technique. Its name is the Thousand Flames technique. King is shocked but he doesn't show that on his face. He tells Rayon to leave now. After Rayon leaves, Patriarch remembers that the Thousand Flames technique is the technique of the first ever Sieghart Patriarch. In history, no one has ever been able to read the technique. The butler tells the Patriarch if this news gets out then it might put Rayon and Sylvia in danger. King assures that no one knows about that book and now it has disappeared, but at least Rayon has learned it. Patriarch is happy that Rayon got this legendary technique. At home, Rayon also realizes that this technique is really special. He starts to concentrate and tries to achieve the technique. But even after multiple tries, he isn't able to use it. Demon Lord says in a sarcastic way, "Your body is weak when you concentrate on collecting the aura. If someone attacked you while doing that, then you won't be able to protect yourself." Even Rayon realizes if the demon attacks him while he is cultivating the aura for this technique, then his mana circuit will be destroyed forever. Demon Lord gives an evil smile and tells him that he will interrupt only once. He doesn't care if Rayon loses a limb or even if he dies. He can bring him alive again and then take control of his body. Rayon is afraid but still tries his best to be confident in front of him. He smiles and says, "You said only once. I'll see what you will do this time." Rayon knows he is not lying because he is the demon of the demon realm. Rayon sits back and relaxes and says he will worry about this later. Now he has to take care of some urgent matter. He looks below from the window and sees the maid who is spying on him. Her name is Annex. She was writing about what she noticed today. But we see even Annex was not feeling good to spy on a child, but she has to follow her orders. Suddenly someone puts a dagger on her throat. She is terrified because the person possesses a tremendous amount of bloodthirst. She sees the reflection of Rayon in lake. Rayon tells her that he was aware she was spying on him from the first day. He was just pretending to not know this. Rayon tells her to open her mouth and feed her something. Rayon takes the letter and starts to read Annex's mind. He tells her that he knows Karan Sieghart has made her do this. Annex is shocked and terrified. She thinks that Rayon has fed her a rage worm. She remembers that Karan had promised her if she did this mission well he would do what she wanted for a very long time. Annex asks Rayon that does he fed her rage worm. Rayon gave a very cold reply and said, "So you know about that." Annex knew that this was worst thing that could have happened to her. Annex has thought that this would be a very easy mission because Rayon is just a child and Sylvia's mana circuit is broken. But now she thinks Rayon is not a child but he is a monster. Annex tells him that she will change this information right away. But Rayon denies her because he knew that Karan will eventually get this information. He smiles and tells Annex that from now on she will work as a double spy. She should give away information that others can find out soon and hide the important information. And she has to bring the information which Rayon should know. He goes from here and tells her to bring some useful information next time. On his way back, the demon asks him when does he summon the rage worm. To this Rayon replies he will never use something so cruel. He just fed her something and made her believe it was rage worm. He tells the demon that he was not able to read her emotions, but he already had those information. Now even the demon thinks Rayon is a monster. Soon it was time for Rayon to go back to the training hall. And even after lots of training, he wasn't able to use aura. In the training hall, Rayon notices only 42 people have passed. That means Limer has left behind only a quarter. We see Runan come to meet Rayon. We see a few days back Runan's mother tells her that if Rayon has helped her in her training then she should thank him. She tells her that she should show gratitude to Rayon. And that's what Runan does now. She says thanks to Rayon. Rayon is confused and shocked by this. Now we see Buran come to meet Rayon. Suddenly he bows down and apologizes for his behavior on the exam day. He accepts that he was defeated but now he will try hard to surpass him. Rayon wasn't expecting this from Buran. He didn't think that a 13-year-old kid could admit he was wrong. Now Limer comes here and tells them the basic training routine will be the same but he has added a few more regimes to that. He was telling them about the aura training but then a girl barges in. She is really rude and Headmaster introduces her. He tells everyone that she is Martha Sieghart, who is a direct lineage. She failed last year, that's why she has to do the training again. Martha stands in front of everyone and tells them that she will fight the top trainee. She laughs and tells Rayon to fight. Rayon is annoyed by this, but we see Burin interfere and tell Martha to stop. He says that Rayon has proved himself in front of Patriarch and Instructor. Martha laughs and says that she has heard that Burin has challenged Rayon too. Then Burin says that he was wrong to do that and that's why he doesn't want Martha to behave like him. Even Rudden stands in between and tells Martha to go away. Martha gives an evil smile and says he hates cowards who hide behind others. She tries to land an attack on Rayon. We see Rayon easily dodge her attack and punch her, which pushes her back. Martha is more furious now, but the headmaster stops them. He smiles and says Rayon doesn't even learn aura yet. It will be cheating if she fights him now. She should fight when he learns to use aura. Demon is angry and tells Rayon to take revenge on Martha for attacking him. But Rayon has something else in his mind. He says he will get revenge at the right time. In training, Rayon was learning everything faster than everyone else. Martha is getting really jealous of him. She was known as a lurid talent in this family. She was not born in but adopted into the Zeeghart family. She surpassed all the direct and indirect lineage who called themselves geniuses. But now she is really anxious because she is not able to deal with Rayon. One day a servant sees that Martha looks tensed. That's why he tells her that Rayon will never be able to win against her. Rayon has a critical weakness that he can never overcome. Now see, Rayon was training hard in swordsmanship. Martha comes here and mocks him by saying that he is a genius, but with this much bad mana sensitivity, your talent will go to waste. She tells everyone that even after 4 months Rayon hasn't mastered the aura. She gained all this information from the servant last night. She says even if he became the most talented swordsman, but without aura he cannot become a proper martial artist. After hearing all this, Runnan is really angry on Martha and tells her to go away. Runnan doesn't like how Martha is behaving. After the training, the demon was really angry on Rayon. He wants to take revenge on Martha. He didn't like how Martha was treating him. Rayon is too calm about it and says there is no benefit to fight her. Rayon is confident that he can defeat Martha easily. Then we see Runnan come to meet Rayon. She has a box with her. Rayon sees there is only one sweet in it. When eats it, it was too delicious. Even the demon was amazed because he has never tasted something this sweet. Runnan says it's a marble ice cream, and she goes away without even saying goodbye. Demon feels Runnan is weird, but Rayon is happy because he feels Runnan cares for him. Rayon decides he will repay Runnan. Now Rayon goes to his home. Here the spy Annex gives him all the updates about what's going on. She tells Rayon soon they will stop looking into Rayon and Sylvia. Rayon feels at this rate they will pull back Annex, but he didn't want that because he wanted to use Annex more. Suddenly Annex asks in a shuddering voice that does Rayon didn't learn aura yet on purpose. Rayon uses this chance and makes her more confused by saying maybe he is doing that. Rayon asks her what she thinks about that. Annex gets scared and apologizes to Rayon and takes her leave. After this, Demon tells Rayon that he is smart to not reveal to her that Rayon is facing difficulty in cultivating aura. But the demon doesn't understand why he is not able to learn it. Now Rayon decides he should train more to make aura easily. When Rayon goes out, he is shocked to see Headmaster Limer was waiting for him. Rayon asks the headmaster why is he here. The headmaster says he is here to teach him. He tells Rayon that he wants to tell him about attributes. Now we see the headmaster take Rayon to a forest. Rayon is confused and annoyed to hike this mountain. When they reach the top, headmaster thinks that day he was too shocked. On the first day when he saw Rayon's training technique, Limer felt that Rayon's flames were so strong that they almost resembled magma. Headmaster Limer was happy to see him and was amazed to know what would happen when Rayon will master this training technique. That when they reached there, Headmaster turned toward Rayon and created a tremendous amount of wind energy. He tells Rayon this is the wind he chose. There are various types of wind like warm, cold as well as sharp, and he learned to make blades from the wind. The headmaster tells Rayon that his attribute can be fire, so he should practice that. But he can't train fire here in the forest. That's why the headmaster is planning to take Rayon somewhere else. Then they reached a house in the middle of the forest where an old man was living. Rayon notices that the man is doing something with fire, and the fire here is really different. In his past life, Rayon has seen various types of fire, but these flames are just like the Rayon possesses. Rayon sees the name of the old man is Valken. He knows from his previous life that this old man is an artisan who is famous all over the world for his skills. He is the one who has created the true heaven sword of King Glen. But after that, this man suddenly disappeared. Rayon bows down and greets the old man. The old man thinks maybe Limer has told Rayon something about him, but Limer denies it. Limer tells Rayon that for more than 10 years old man Valken has been stoking the flames here, so this is the best place to feel real flames. Limer tells old man Valken that Rayon is Sylvia's son. This shocks the old man and he turns behind. Now Rayon in a very sincere way requests the old man to let him feel the flames here. Falcon tells him that he is making golden charcoal. It can create stronger flames than black or white charcoal. He has spent more than 10 years doing that. Then he allows Rayon to do his training. Rayon is very happy to hear this and he thanks the old man Falcon. Now outside, Falcon tells Limer that he didn't allow Rayon to train because Limer brought him here. He did that because the flame in the furnace rose when Rayon entered the room. Falcon realized that Rayon's breathing possessed the power to manipulate fire. Falcon thinks Rayon can make his wish come true. We see 7 months have passed by and Rayon is still training here. Now he has learned a lot about his fire element. He has awakened the 10,000 flames technique too. He remembers all the things the headmaster had taught him. He remembers about his revenge and his goal too. In his mind, he sees a bright fireball in front of him. He is trying his best to concentrate and cultivate this fire. He almost reached the spiritual state of complete selflessness. But suddenly he hears the voice of Demon who says this is the perfect moment for him to attack Rayon because right now Rayon cannot defend himself. He starts to freeze Rayon's body. Right now the demon is way stronger than Rayon. Rayon is not even able to breathe properly and he knows he cannot move his body while cultivating 10,000 flames. He tries to think of ways to survive but his consciousness is slowly fading away. Demon tells Rayon that the only thing he can do is submit his body. But Rayon gets an idea. This idea is really dangerous. But now Rayon has nothing to lose. He starts to absorb the mana from the furnace directly. Rayon is struggling, still he endures the pain. Now even Falcon noticed that the fire in the furnace is increasing rapidly. He looks at Rayon and sees he is shivering from cold even though he was sitting right in front of the furnace. Limer comes between and tells Falcon that they cannot interrupt Rayon now. If they do that, Rayon might die. The headmaster knows the only thing they can do is wait for Rayon to overcome this cold on his own. We see in his spiritual state Rayon is trying his best to defend himself from the demon lord. He remembers all his pain and suffering and jumps towards the fireball. And after a lot of struggle, he finally catches it. And because of this, a huge blast happened inside the furnace. Both of them are concerned about Rayon. But they see Rayon gets up and he is surrounded by bright golden flames. Rayon sees the status window which tells him that he has finally learned the 1,000 flames technique. He has gained several other rewards too. He is happy because he did better than he expected. He also received an increment in all the stats because he has endured the hardships given by the demon. Demon is annoyed because he failed to acquire Rayon's body this time too. And even Rayon teases him in a very sarcastic way. But still, Rayon has learned his lesson. Had he finally knows that the demon is not his friends and he should not let him find his weaknesses or secrets. Falcon is concerned about Rayon, but Rayon tells him he is okay, and he finally learned aura. When Falcon looks inside the broken furnace he finds out there is golden charcoal in it. He remembers all the hardships he faced to create this. He tells Rayon that only because of this charcoal is made. In the interval of 7 months, every time Rayon trained here his breathing enlivened the flames, and all thanks to that this golden charcoal was made. Falcon asks Rayon what his goal is and Rayon thinks a lot and replies he wants to become the swordsman who doesn't give up regardless of the situation. Old man Falcon tells him that in 3 to 5 years Rayon will be able to possess a swordsmanship and then he should come to meet him. He will save these for that day. That means the most famous Falcon will make a sword for Rayon. Even the patriarch kept an eye on Rayon's training and he is happy to see Rayon has finally achieved aura. Here in the training hall Runin was missing Rayon a lot. Everyone else was talking bad about Rayon, and Runin was upset because of this. Even now she has a box of sweets in her hand and she wanted to share this with Rayon. Suddenly the door opens and Rayon comes in. Runin comes towards him and offers him marble ice cream again. Rayon is happy to see her and takes one marble. Now Runin is shocked and she notices that the cool air and scent around Rayon becomes stronger and pleasant. After eating one, Rayon closes the box and thanks Runin for this. And here we see Runin blush for the first time. She looks really pretty. When she leaves we see even Rayon looks happy because of her. Now the headmaster tells all students that he is planning something special for the next month. It's time for them to move further and train their energy cores. He tells them that they will do a duel next month. Martha is happy to hear this. This duel will affect their ranks and graduation status. Martha raises a question and asks about the students who haven't created an aura yet. Everyone looks at Rayon and is curious to know his response. But we see the headmaster smile and tell them that yesterday Rayon succeeded in creating an aura. Martha is in disbelief and she is stunned to know this. Now she moves towards him and tells him to fight her. But Burin comes between and confronts Martha and asks her to have some honor because Rayon has just learned aura a day ago. But Martha replies that Rayon took 6 months to create aura. It's the longest time anyone has taken. That simply means he has no talent and he is undeserving of the position of top trainee. She tells Rayon that let's have the winner take the position of the top trainee. But Rayon denies her again and tells her he will not bet on his position of top trainee without anything in return. He tells Martha to bet with something of equal value. Rayon smiles and mocks her by saying is she scared to make a bet. Martha is in disbelief and bursts into an evil laugh. She is amused by Rayon's words, and because of this, she shows him a miracle medicine which her father gave. This is a calamity orb. It strengthens both the body and aura. We see an evil side of Rayon. He tells Demon that now she has something to offer, and this is their chance to screw her. Soon, 1 month passes by. Martha is excited for the duel. She wants to take revenge for what Rayon did to her on day 1. She has trained her aura for 3 years, and she thinks she can easily defeat Rayon because it's only 1 month since he learned aura. She gets a flashback and we see she is trying to become stronger because she wants to save someone. Now in the exam ground, the headmaster welcomes everyone, and soon the duel begins. The first up is Buren Sieghart and Doreen, but Doreen raises his hand and tells the headmaster that he surrenders. Limer and Buren both are confused because the match hasn't even begun yet. He tells them he doesn't feel good because he wasn't able to sleep last night. We see Demon is angry by this behavior of Doreen, but Rayon was expecting this. The headmaster tells him to at least try. It doesn't matter even if he loses, he will surely learn something. Then the scene changes, and we see Buren has defeated Doreen easily. The headmaster suggests Buren control her emotions a little more and tells Doreen to gain more courage and stop running away. The next round is of Runnin and Crane, and here Runnin easily wins this duel. The headmaster gives these two some suggestions too. Now the time for the final duel came. This is between Martha and Rayon. Martha was really excited for this fight. She was fighting in attack mode, and Rayon was on defense. But then Rayon lands an attack on her, and she is moved back because of this. Martha laughs at him and says that you are only strong in swordsmanship, but your aura isn't strong enough. She releases her aura and tries to land a strike on him, but Rayon blocks her attack and then deflects it. Then Rayon says, now I'll show you something more important than talent. He wields his sword and uses the 1000 Flames technique's first flames. Martha is shocked to see this. She doesn't know what these terrifying beautiful flames are. Martha doesn't back down either. She uses a technique called Meteor Form Ultimate Point. This will collect all her aura into one spot. Rayon knows she is planning on giving her everything in this attack. With all her power, she charges toward Rayon. Everyone is amazed to see this. Even the ground starts to crack. And in the next scene, we see Martha lying unconscious on the ground, and her sword was broken. Yes, Rayon won against Martha. Even Rayon acknowledges her mental strength. Now Limer goes to meet King Glenn, and tells him Rayon defeated Martha. The Grandmaster was pleased with Rayon's achievement. The king tells him to guide Rayon well. To this, Limer replies happily that he will do that. Then he tells about Martha that her injuries are not that big, but she is a bit shocked. Then we see Rayon planting a flower in the garden, and Demon Lord was telling and guiding him to plant properly. Rayon remembers the night after he defeated Martha. He used that miracle medicine that increased his stats greatly. Then Rayon looks behind, and Martha was standing there. Rayon asks her if she came here to pick a fight, but Martha is a bit more silent than usual and she doesn't reply. After a moment, she replies, I want to fight you, Rayon Sieghart. Rayon teases her by saying she is acting like a child by not accepting her loss. She is flustered and says that she is acknowledging her loss, but she doesn't understand how she lost. That's why she wants to fight again. Now she is shocked because Rayon asks her what will he get in return to fight her. She is angry and tells Rayon that she will step on these flowers which he just planted. Rayon replies coldly that he doesn't even like flowers. He was gardening for the sake of his mom. After listening to this, Martha couldn't step on it and was about to leave from here. Now Sylvia comes here and asks Rayon if she is his friend. Sylvia is happy to meet her. We see Martha knows about Sylvia's past. Sylvia asks Martha if she got hurt during the duel. She tells her that she is not just talented, she is very pretty too. Martha tells her that she was here to talk with Rayon and now she will leave. But Sylvia holds her hand and tells Martha to eat with them. She serves food for them. Martha was behaving very politely, and Rayon notices that too. Sylvia treats her like her own child. She tells Martha to chew well so you don't get indigestion. Martha remembers her mother used to say this too. Martha was very happy when she was with her mother. After eating, she bows and says goodbye to Sylvia. On the way to her home, she misses her mother. She remembers how happy she was when she was with her mother. But one day, the White Blood cult kidnapped her mother, and Daniel from the Sieghart family adopted her. Yes, so the person she wants to save is her mother. She thinks that Daniel Sieghart adopted her because she is talented. But now she has lost to Rayon. She thinks she might get kicked out if she loses. She knows that her adoptive father Daniel is a soft person, but she has certain trust issues. She thinks, what if Daniel was doing an act? If that happens, then she will lose all hopes of finding her mom. Now when she comes back home, a servant gives her a letter. This is Daniel's letter. In the letter, Daniel congratulates her for her first loss. He encourages and comforts her by saying losing isn't a big deal. On the other page, he says he is still looking for her mother. Now Martha says she didn't lose because she let her guard down. She lost because she is weak. She takes a dagger, holds her hair, and cuts it. She is now more determined to get stronger. Next day, Martha goes to meet Rayon. She tells him that she is apologetic for how she treated him in the past. She says she will keep the promise, which is that the loser will obey the winner. After saying that, she leaves. Rayon is also stunned to see how much Martha has changed in this short amount of time. He thinks she is way more mature for her age. Now, a lot of time passes by, and New Year comes. During this time, Martha obeys Rayon and keeps her promise. Buren also learns to be more patient with other trainees, and Runnin's sword becomes more precise. Even Rayon trains very hard every day. Everyone is jealous of Rayon because he is a very fast learner, and learns everything faster than anyone here. This amazes the Grandmaster too. The Grandmaster is very happy to tell King Glenn about Rayon. He says he is certain that Rayon is learning through the mind realm. They are on a cliff, and from here, the palace looks clear. The headmaster asks the king if he is preparing for something, because employees around the main building look busier than usual. The king tells him that Orwen Kingdom's envoy is coming. Orwen Kingdom is one of the 6 emperors, 5 demons, and they are one of the few forces close to Sieghart. The third prince is coming here, similar in age to Rayon and Buren. The king tells Limer that they can come to watch the training too. Here, we see Headmaster Limer is preparing for some conspiracy in his mind. The next day, the headmaster tells all the trainees that the third prince wants to spar with them. Trainees are confused because it's a sudden notice, but we see that last night, the headmaster himself went to meet the prince and invited him to come to the training hall. This was the conspiracy Limer was thinking about yesterday. After a moment, the prince enters the ground with his knights. They all look royal and strong. The prince introduces himself as Grier de Orwen. Rayon notices that Grier definitely looks strong, the strongest among the knights too. The headmaster asks Rayon if he is also hesitant to duel with them. Rayon looks at the prince and thinks this might be nice practice. He replies with a straight face, without fear, that he would like to duel with them. The headmaster tells Rayon to pick 20 from the group for the duel. Soon, Rayon picks 20 trainees and tells them to look at the knights before the fight. He says they have handsome armor and a confident posture, but look at their hands. Their hands are shaking from nervousness. Rayon motivates his group by saying they are on the same level as us, so let's do our best. Now all students get pretty confident too. Rayon thinks he should send the strongest people first to increase the spirit of others. He chooses Martha to go first. Martha seems pretty confident and tells Rayon she will end it fast. When they look at the opponent, he looks way bigger than Martha. They all think he can't be the same age as them because of the size difference. Despite this, Martha smiles and casually says she will win anyway. She tells the opponent to come with all his might. Damn, this girl has no chill. I am very curious to know what will happen next. The duel began, and Martha was overpowering him. The prince was shocked. He had seen the training of other halls too, and now he thinks that this training hall is the most powerful. We see both headmasters have a friendly conversation, and both bet that their students will win. Martha breaks the sword of her opponent, and defeats this guy. Yes, Martha wins the duel. Now, one by one, other students duel too. The 18th match starts. It's between Runnin and Idalia. Idalia uses her fire technique, and Runnin does not like that. That's why she uses her ice technique. They both start the duel, and because of the combination of fire and ice, the arena gets filled with smoke. And all of a sudden, Runnin places her sword on Idalia's neck. Runnin wins the duel, and without saying anything, she goes near Rayon. Rayon tells her she did well and she has gotten faster too. Runnin smiles and thanks Rayon, then sits next to him. The score now is 9 for both. Now the 19th round is between Buren and Serim. Rayon notices that Serim is the strongest out of them all, excluding the third prince. The duel begins. The match was really interesting and intense. They both give their all, and they were almost at the same level. After a lot of time, both of their swords break. The headmaster announces that this round was a draw. The score is still equal now. Rayon comforts him by saying that the knight was the strongest among them all. But Buren was frustrated. He says he holds Sieghart's name. He should have won. but Rayon moves forward and assures him that he will bring glory to Sieghart's name. The prince looks at Rayon and thinks he looks too ordinary. He doesn't want to fight a weakling. That's why the prince tells Limer that he wants to duel these two after he beats Rayon. The prince looks overconfident and thinks he will win against Rayon easily. The prince decided he won't use his aura to save his energy for the next fight. But the other headmaster was able to notice that Rayon is stronger. Limer asks him why he didn't warn the third prince before the duel starts. He tells Limer that the third prince has never experienced loss, but one day he should experience that too. He wants the prince to learn to accept loss in a safe environment like this. Limer suggests that they should bet one more time. This time they will bet for drinks. He confidently bets that Rayon will end the prince in 5 moves. Soon the duel starts. Rayon attacks the prince and defeats him before he can do anything. The match is already over before the other headmaster even bets for it. The third prince loses this match and falls on the ground. Limer laughs while saying that it wasn't even 5 moves. Now the prince understands why Rayon was last in line for the duel. He gets up and tells Rayon to stop. He shouts that he hasn't shown his real skills yet. He was going to say something, but someone interrupts him and says why is he barking like a dog. It was no other person than Martha. She claims someone who is in the position of prince should acknowledge his loss instead of whining. The prince was stunned to see this. He is in disbelief to see someone talk to him like this. Martha tells him to get the hell out of there since he has lost. The headmaster Limer interrupts and says let's hear Rayon's opinion on this matter. Rayon looks at the prince and says the duel is over and there is no reason for him to fight anymore. The prince bows his head and says he acknowledges his loss. He has underestimated Rayon, and that's why he lost. He goes on his knees and requests Rayon to fight again because if he leaves like this, then he will regret it forever. Rayon didn't expect the prince will act so humble, and that's why he accepts the duel. Now the prince decides to give his all. He releases a bright blue aura that shocks almost everyone. Despite the headmaster's warning, the prince uses the secret technique. All he wants now is to fight and win against Rayon. Even the demon also bets with Rayon. If he wins, he will get +4 in all stats. Now Rayon also releases his golden red aura. When the prince attacks him, the place gets filled with smoke. He uses Pier's sword technique that's only passed down to the successor of the Orwen kingdom. This will be the prince's final attack. He is planning to give his all in it. Rayon is ready for it. He also used the 1000 Flames technique first flame. The prince attacks Rayon first. Rayon blocks it, but the prince pushes back Rayon's aura. But Rayon strikes and breaks the sword of the prince. Rayon uses his speed and strikes at the prince and defeats him. The prince has faced his first loss, but he isn't upset. He shakes hands with Rayon and tells him he has learned many things because of this duel. He is a little agitated too because he has lost to someone younger than him. Then he gives Rayon a charm. The prince tells Rayon that having this charm means the third prince will do any kind of favor for Rayon. Rayon says that this is something more valuable for this duel. But the prince claims that he has learned many things from this duel. He goes back, saying they will meet again someday. He tells everyone to get back because he has something important to do. Then the prince goes to meet King Glenn and tells him how lucky he was to do a duel with Rayon. He has fought many duels in all 6 empires, but he thinks Rayon was the strongest one he fought. Then the king tells him to go back safely. Now the prince goes back to his kingdom with all his knights. The headmaster, who is also the duke, tells the prince that giving that charm to Rayon was a bit too much. The prince laughs and says that Rayon has shown goodwill to him. He could have denied to do the duel. And after all, the prince thinks that giving the charm to Rayon was an investment. The prince is certain that Rayon has so much skill. He will surely become a great figure one day. He has thought way ahead in the future. He grew up in a royal family. He needs to think this much. In the palace, the butler teases King Glenn that he looks happy after the prince appreciated Rayon. Then they discuss a serious matter that the duke has said to King. Before going, Duke told King Glenn that the 5 darkness have begun moving again. In the 5th training hall, Limer congratulates everyone for sparring against the trainees of Orwen Kingdom. He tells them that next week they will do some special training. Everyone is curious about it, and the headmaster tells them it's going to be a real battle. Be prepared to see real blood. In the south of Sieghardt territory, some mountain bandits who call themselves Snow Tiger Claw have started stealing from merchants and killing people. And now they have ambushed a village and killed all the villagers before setting it on fire. Their mission is to track down the bandits and to eliminate them. They will leave tomorrow evening. At night, Runnan was trading. She was also curious about Rayon and what he would be doing right now. Then she remembers that her mother has told her to come home on weekends. She will prepare ice cream for her. Runnan thinks she will bring ice cream for Rayon tomorrow and goes back on her way home. When she was going, a person followed her. He called Runnin from behind, and when Runnin turned, she was scared to see that person. This boy was looking like Runnin. His name is Syria, who is Runnin's brother. Runnin was shivering from fear because of her brother. He tells her that she has gotten stronger but intimidates her by saying not to think of participating in a duel or risking her life. Runnin gets scared and falls back. He tells her he will teach her a lesson. He takes out a squirrel, who is the pet of Runnin. Syria kills that pet squirrel in front of Runnin, and she remembers that this is not the first time he has done something so terrible. Runnin is really afraid, and she screams in fear. Syria comes close to her and tells her that she belongs to him. Suddenly, Rayon comes here and stands between Runnin and Syria. Rayon is really angry and asks Syria who he is. Rayon insults him by saying, "Is he a thief or mugger?" Syria is frustrated by this, but he says he is Runnin's older brother. Rayon looks at Runnin, who is still in shock. He asks Syria if Runnin looks terrified. Is he really her brother? Syria laughs and says he was just doing a prank with Runnin. He shows his hand and tells Rayon to look. There is no squirrel here, it was just a toy. But Rayon knows that Syria completely burned its blood and then the body using aura. He tells Runnin that he won't come back for a while because he is going on a long-term mission. He sarcastically says, "You have got a good friend, get along with him." Then he leaves from here. Rayon thinks he knows that man. He is the genius swordsman of the Sleon family, destined to become the god of the continent. Rayon knows he is also evil like Daruth Robert. Now Rayon turns behind and gives his hand to Runnin. He takes her to her carriage. In the carriage, she remembers that in the past when Runnin was small, she had a pet squirrel named Ruby, who scratched her hand by mistake. And Syria got very furious with Ruby and killed her. He claimed that Runnin belongs to him, she can't get hurt. From now on, do nothing except breathing and don't get hurt, he said. If she says anything to mom or dad, he will kill them both too. He doesn't need anyone except her. That's why she decided to become a quiet kid. She thought if she talked with anyone, that person could get hurt by Syria. But one day she met Rayon. Seeing him struggle to get recognized by people around him, she decided to change herself too. But in the present, she thinks she can't change anything now. She is upset by this, but she thinks it will be okay as long as she endures it. Next day, we see they all reach village Zartan, and Headmaster Limers tells them they will rest there tonight. He informs them they might be tired due to traveling through the dimensional gateway. They should rest well. Tonight is their last break before the mission. A man shows up and leads them to the place where they will rest. In the room, Rayon and Demon were talking, where Demon tells Rayon to hand over his body, and he will kill Syria and return Rayon's body to him. He claims that he wants to do this for Runnin since she gave him marble ice cream. But Rayon still denies him and tells him that she is the first person who was kind to him in both his lives. He claims that if anything happens to her, he will kill that guy with his own hands. After 2 days, they all reach the village which was burned down by Snow Tiger Claw. All the trainees were horrified to see burned bodies, but Rayon notices that Martha isn't slightly shaken. It seems that she has seen a lot of corpses before, or else she killed someone. But suddenly, he realizes that Runnin is missing. We see that Runnin has lost her way and saw a corpse in front of her. She was so terrified that she almost puked. Now the headmaster tells everyone that this is all the doing of Snow Tiger Claw. They should not let their guards down. Headmaster Limers shows them a silent whistle. It doesn't make a normal sound, only trained people can hear it. So if they blow this, the instructor supervisors will come to help immediately. Limers tells them to be careful, still, they should do whatever they can. They can fight or even kill the bandits if they can. The headmaster tells them to form groups of 3 or 4 people and start moving. Runnin is dumbfounded and doesn't know what to do. She remembers what Syria said to her. He told her not to get hurt because she belongs to him. Suddenly, Rayon comes in front of her. He smiles and tells her to come with him. They both reach near the peak. Rayon knows it's a good place to hide, but the bandits will not be there because it's too obvious. That's why he decided to search the other way. He tells Runnin to come with him. Even the demon notices that Rayon cares for her. He asks Rayon why isn't he saying anything to her. Rayon tells in a sad voice that he doesn't know what to say because it's a family matter. He doesn't even understand his own emotions towards Sylvia. How should he give advice to others on family matters? But he knows that Syria has used something on her, and he can fix it. He is just waiting for the right opportunity. After jogging down the hill, Rayon found some traces that normal people couldn't find. But he found that because of his assassin's skill and experience, he found some bear traps, which made him certain that the base of the bandit is near. He tells Runnin to stay alert and be more quiet. Soon, they find a cave where bandits were hiding. he sees that there is a little boy whom they have taken as a hostage. Rayon looks at the two guards who are well built but they have less aura. That means they are not much stronger. There is one more guard who looks stronger than the other two. Rayon is sure all the other bandits are inside as well. Rayon is confused whether he should call for backup or attack alone. He is sure that if the backup will come, then they can easily ambush all the bandits who are hiding inside. But the little boy's condition doesn't look good. If he waits more, the boy could freeze to death. Rayon decides to attack them. Runin is scared and lost in thoughts. Rayon calls her and tells her not to worry. They will save the kid. He tells her to use mana to block out sound, and he will take care of the rest. She is afraid but decides to trust Rayon. She comes forward and distracts the guards and blocks their voices using mana. Seeing the opportunity, Rayon goes into attack mode and slashes them both in one strike. But seeing this stuns Runin. All her past trauma kicks in, and she loses control of her senses. Rayon notices this, and he is afraid because the mana sound barrier broke down. Runin is having a panic attack, and she is not able to control her emotions. At this rate, they will be soon caught by the bandits. The other guy takes his chance and goes to attack Runin when she is not in the position to defend herself. But Rayon uses his skills and strikes that guy down. He puts his foot on his head. He threatens him by saying he will ask him a few questions, and if he denies to answer, then he will take out one bone each time. He looks at Runin. She is shaking in fear, and despite all that, she is still maintaining the mana barrier. They survive because they maintain the mana barrier. After a while, they rescue the boy, and Rayon interrogates the man. They found out that all the other bandits are hiding inside the cave. There were 39 bandits in total, and they have one more hostage with them. The little boy tells Rayon that the other hostage is his little sister. Runin comforts the boy by saying, "Don't worry, we will save her." To this, Rayon firmly tells Runin not to make such promises. He tells her that there are more 36 bandits left with their leader. Even if they ambush them all with backup, it's no guarantee they will save the little girl. Then they decide to blow the whistle. Runin blows it, and it doesn't make any sound. Rayon was next to her, and even he couldn't hear it. But suddenly, someone inside the cave informs the others that he heard a silent alarm. Rayon and Runin weren't expecting that there would be someone who has such sharp senses. Rayon is shocked to know this because even he couldn't hear it, but the other guy did, so maybe the bandits are stronger than they expected. All the bandits come out of the cave, and Rayon took the guard as a hostage. The chief is annoyed to see Rayon, who is just a kid, causing such a big scene. He asks Rayon whom did he call with the whistle. Rayon doesn't respond to this and tells him he wants to exchange the hostages. He tells them to return the little girl, and he will leave the bandit. But the chief starts to laugh and tells him he doesn't care about that guy. This little girl as a hostage is more valuable to us. He places a sword around the little girl's neck and warns Rayon to leave that guy, or else they will kill her. Hearing this, Rayon's eyes fill with rage, and he tells Runin to turn around. When Runin looks away, he instantly slashes this guy's neck and kills him. All the other guys were stunned by this, and Rayon throws his sword towards them, killing the ones who were near the little girl. He tells Runin to create frost fog using her aura, and when she made the fog, the vision of the bandits is blocked, and they can't see what Rayon is doing. He swiftly goes near the girl and rescues her. The bandits are furious. The chief orders them to find and kill Rayon. Rayon and Runin sit down when they reach a little far. The kids passed out because of the cold, and that's why they can't travel now. Rayon knows that if they leave the bandit, they will again cause trouble or kill more villagers. He tells Runin to stay here and protect the kids, and he will take care of the rest. But Runin isn't listening to anything Rayon is saying. Her focus is on Rayon's right hand because there is a very big wound on it. Rayon tells her not to worry about this. He stands and tells her he will take care of things and come back soon. But Runin holds a piece of his jacket and tells him not to go. She tells him it's dangerous to fight, and he is even badly injured right now. She is very sad and afraid that something might happen to Rayon. She tells him to wait until the headmaster and backup come. There are tears in Runin's eyes which ache the heart of Rayon. He tells her that he understands that the battlefield is scary, but there is something more scary than the battlefield. Runin doesn't understand this and asks him what that is. He tells her that not being able to do anything due to being too scared is scarier than the battlefield. He reminds her that those bandits have committed horrible crimes. They have killed many people, and he is sure that there were people who tried to protect their loved ones. But the bandits have killed them too. He can't turn a blind eye on the death of those people. He motivates her by saying they are the swordsmen of Sieghart. They should fear this. He also tells her that he doesn't know what her brother has done to her, but he is sure that the more scared she is, the more that man's shadow will grow. She shouldn't be afraid of him because her own fear will swallow her. He tells her, "Runnen's Leon, only you are the one who can protect yourself and the people you treasure." Runnen's eyes fill with tears when she hears all these. He takes out something from his pocket and keeps it in the hand of Runnen. He tells her that only she can make decisions for herself. He walks away, ready to attack those bandits. Runnen remembers all her past trauma, and she decides that she will protect the people she loves. She will no longer hide from anyone. She looks in her hand and sees that Rayon has made a squirrel toy to comfort her, and seeing this, tears roll down her eyes. Now, Rayon goes inside the cave and starts to kill these bandits one by one. Other bandits start to tremble in fear because Rayon is attacking them all with the intent to kill. And he isn't even thinking twice. The chief is angry at his men and shouts, "Why can't they handle a kid?" Two guys sneak up on Rayon from behind, but he notices them on time. He goes into defense mode, and when he was defending himself, the chief attacks Rayon from behind. The chief was certain that he landed a hit, but when he sees there was no one in front of him, he is shocked to see Rayon is behind him. Rayon says in a sarcastic way that he knows that the chief has waited a long time just to find an opening for an attack. Rayon says it was a very cowardly move. After saying this, he decapitates his head in a single blow. All the other men think he can't be a kid. His actions are no less than a monster. Rayon moves forward and tells them to surrender because their leader is already dead. But suddenly, someone attacked Rayon from behind. He laughs at his men as he says, "How can you all lose to a single little kid?" The other men call him chief. We get to know he is the chief of the North-South Alliance. He claims that it looks like Rayon comes from a wealthy family. He will keep him as a hostage. He strikes at Rayon with all his might, but Rayon successfully defends himself. But Rayon knows that this guy is a lot stronger than others. He is also a sword user. Suddenly, a guy outside shouted that he found the other girl and hostages. He attacks Runnen, who is not in a good state. Rayon knows Runnen is not in a state to handle this fight. He wants to help her, but seeing Rayon not focusing on the fight makes this guy more angry. He attacks Rayon and tells him that he should worry about himself and not to worry about others. Rayon doesn't know what he should do now. Runnen was defending herself, but she was not attacking to kill. The guy notices this and understands that Runnen has never killed anyone before. He corners her and tells her to hand over the hostages. The only thing running in Runnen's mind was she has to protect these kids. Even though she is strong, her hands were trembling because she has never killed anyone. She knows the opponent is weak and she can easily kill him. But suddenly, she starts to hallucinate about Syria. She is seeing her brother again. She knows she has to fight her fear, but she feels like a little kid who is left alone in the corner. She wants to be like Rayon. She wants to protect what she treasures. She is too terrified to even hold her sword. She knows she doesn't know what to do. But suddenly, she hears Rayon call her name. Rayon's voice comes like a day of light and hope in her dark world. Even though Rayon himself was struggling to fight against the enemy, he simply tells Runnen that she can do it, and he trusts her. Runnen feels like Rayon is giving her a hand to come outside from that dark corner. Her eyes get teary as she thinks about this. Now she knows what she has to do. She knows she should thank Rayon for giving her this much courage. She uses her sword and slashes the image of her brother in her mind. And this blow hits her opponent too. She kills him instantly. The opponent of Rayon is annoyed because all his men are losing to little kids. Rayon claims she is not just a little kid. She is the one who has overcome her dark past on her own. She is a swordsman who has overcome trials. Now, Rayon uses his Thousand Flames technique and lands a killer blow on this guy and defeats him. After a while, he checks all the stuff bandits have. He wants to look for traps before the headmaster and backup come. He finds flour in the bandits' stuff. This is a two-tone flower, a rare miracle herb. But as he was looking at it, he heard a voice from behind. There's a guy who asks Rayon if that's the two-tone flower in his hand. He laughs and asks him, "Did you kill all the bandits?" Rayon responds with another question. "What if I said yes, I am the one who killed them?" The guy laughs in amazement. He is amazed to see Rayon's confidence. He thinks Rayon must be very skilled. Rayon asks him if he is also a part of those North-South Alliance bandits. The guy replies with, "Yes, you can call me Richter." Rayon remembers he has heard this name Richter before. He knows Richter is a genius swordsman who entered North-South Alliance with nothing but a sword. And with his skills, he became the leader of the mountain bandits within 10 years. The Snow Tiger Claw bandits don't even compare to him. This guy is a real martial artist with real skills. Richter thinks about what he should do with these kids. He asks with a straight face to Rayon, "Should I kill you?" This guy looks more powerful and stronger than other bandits. What do you think? Will Rayon be able to defend himself against Richter? Now he releases his strong and powerful aura. Now Rayon knows that the opponent is obviously showing his killing intent. But Rayon has already lived his past life as an assassin, so this is nothing for him. He takes out his sword. Richter smiles at this and tells him how can he withstand this much of his aura. Now he understands that Rayon is not just a normal kid. In his mind, Rayon was contemplating all the things he can do to kill this guy. He knows he can kill this man if he approaches from behind, but he can't defeat him as he is right now in a head-on fight. He tells him to come at him with all his might. Richter is shocked to hear this because he knows that Rayon already understands the situation and knows that he is going to be defeated. But Rayon, with a confident voice, says that it's common sense for the weak to die to the strong. This leaves Richter dumbfounded because he feels that it's something a kid should not say. After hearing this, he actually loses his interest to fight with Rayon because now he knows what kind of person Rayon is, and he thinks that it will be a shame to kill someone like him. But Rayon doesn't back down. Even now, he says a martial artist doesn't choose where he dies. All this stuff coming out of Rayon's mouth is making Richter more confused and flustered. He sarcastically asks Rayon if he's sure he is a kid. Does he have a collection of famous quotes or something? He was standing right in front of him and says that there is another reason why he doesn't want to kill him right now. He says the vicious wind has been watching us for a while. Rayon doesn't understand what he is saying, but Richter jumps and gets away from Rayon and tells him that it wouldn't be fun if he were a part of the North or South Alliance. He stands on a snowy peak and asks Rayon about his name. He looks curious to know more about Rayon. Rayon tells him that he is Rayon Zeekart. After hearing Rayon's name, he tells him that he hopes that one day he will hear about him, and he vanishes away from here. After this, Rayon checks on Runin and tells her that they should leave from here too. Runin is thinking about something now, about her fight. She asks him if she was good. Rayon is confused and dumbfounded by this question, but he simply smiles and tells her that she was the best. This makes Runin happy, and this was the end of Rayon's short but also long first mission. After a while, Rayon returned and met the other trainees. He had returned with the head of the Snow Tiger Claw Bandits chief. Because of this, Martha and Burin were upset that they lost to him once again. Other students were a little bit upset too, so Headmaster Limer comforted the other students for not performing as well. He also gave them some advice, which actually turned into a storytelling of how great his own first mission went for him. So, we can say that the headmaster was pleased with how he did on his own first mission. Even the Wrath started to brag about his first battle, and he started to tell Rayon about his first battle in which he froze the entire castle. Listening to the two very talkative people reminiscing almost made Rayon feel his ears were bleed. The rescued children had lost their parents, so the Sleon family decided to take them in. Sleon family is the family of Runin, and even the children liked the decision since they started to like Runin. After few days upon returning from the missions, Runin and Rayon were summoned by Patriarch, where they were awarded with a bronze medal for their compliment. At first, Rayon was surprised to be praised by the Patriarch. Then we get to know the Patriarch gave Rayon the two-tone flower by calling it Rayon's own loot. Despite the flower being a very rare miracle medicine, the Patriarch decided to give it to Rayon. Rayon is visibly confused about this, but he still takes it since getting the two-tone flower is quite a big deal. At night, when Rayon came back to his home, his eyes were stunned to see someone in front of him. He was confused and flustered to see Doreen here. He asked Doreen why he was here, to which Doreen replied that Madame Sylvia had asked him to stop by. He further tells that Madame Sylvia asked him about what happened once the mission was completed, and Rayon was stunned to hear this. Beads of sweat fell from his face as he was in terrible shock. With a pinch of fear in his voice, he asked Doreen if he had told her everything. Doreen's eyes tired up when he informed Rayon that he told Madame Sylvia about the touching story. Rayon was dumbfounded by this and called him an idiot. Suddenly, he heard Sylvia's voice, who was accompanied by Maid Helen. Both of their faces looked like they couldn't process what they had just heard. Rayon thought that Sylvia would be really mad if she knew that Rayon stepped up to kill the bandits. He tried to explain the situation, but suddenly Sylvia ran up to him and hugged him. She smiled and told Rayon that he did a great job. Rayon was confused by this series of events. Sylvia asked her why she thought she would be mad. Rayon replied that Sylvia always tells him to be careful. Rayon was about to say some more things, but Sylvia cut him off and said that the reason the first Patriarch built his sword was to protect the weak. She told him that he always reached out his hand to those in need. Since then, Zygardes continued to carry out his will to protect the weak. She tells Rayon that her dream was to become a swordsman like the first Patriarch, so how could she scold Rayon for saving the hostages? She put both of her hands on Rayon's shoulders and told him that she was proud of him. Maid Helen was also proud to hear the story, and she told the other maids that tomorrow she would go to the main residence and she would brag about Rayon's successful first mission. Sylvia was very emotional, but on the other hand, Rayon was not able to understand her. He felt that emotions were too complicated for him. He turned his face behind to look at what that bastard Dorian had done, but he was long gone from here. Rayon felt that the situation was not that bad either. On the other hand, we see Runan cherishing the wooden squirrel, which was given to her as a present by Rayon. She was lying on her bed and thinking about the moments spent with Rayon. She remembers on their first mission where Rayon motivated her to move forward and forget about her dark past. In her mind, she thinks that next time when she will meet him, she will thank him for all that he did for her. Now we see in the forest, Limer was also thinking about Rayon. We get to know what Richter was telling Rayon about the vicious wind. Actually, Limer was hiding behind the tree and watching the interaction between Richter and Rayon. He noticed the courage and bravery of Rayon. His smile as he remembers that Rayon is similar to the patriarch. He feels like the seed for the new king has begun to sprout. Now, we see the main presidential building of the Robert family. There was a man sitting at his office table, writing something. By the way guys, do you remember who this white-haired guy is? If you don't know, then let me remind you that he is Sir Daruth Robert. He is the main antagonist of this story. He was writing something in his book and noticed blood on the page. When he checked, he noticed the wound was still not closed. He remembers the day when he killed Rayon, but before dying, Rayon charged up towards him and attacked him. He remembered that it had been 17 years already since the day Rayon had given him this wound. He continued to try out different high-quality miracle medicines since that day, but it didn't work. He also hired skilled physicians and renowned priests. However, no one has been able to erase this wound from his hand. He sees the wound on his hand which neither heals nor gets worse. He feels that the wound looks exactly similar just like it did the day he got it. He feels the wound is communicating to him and it wants him to remember that day. He sarcastically says, "So some dead spirit is asking me to remember him," and feels that Rayon is standing in front of him and he laughs at him. He says that the past doesn't matter to him because he is not a person who will look back on his own past. Now we get to know that there is only little time left until Robert's lifelong wish will come true. I feel he is planning something cruel, but we don't know what that is. Now I am very curious to know what it can be. Let's see in the future what it is. Now we see Rayon, who has achieved many rewards on his status window. We can see the bitter cold curse have been weakened. He got 3-star Thousand Flames technique. And he has also achieved 3-star bitter cold aura. He got 3-star legendary census and now he has achieved entry to sword expert. He is happy to see all this appraisals in his skills. He finally reached the expert realm and he is satisfied with his own performance, although it is still entry level. But we all know that Rayon has worked really hard to reach this point. The devil tries to insult Rayon by saying that it is ridiculous because even a swordsman is just near an insect in front of him. So why is Rayon being proud of himself for becoming an expert level? Rayon tells him that it is rare for a 15-year-old to become an expert level. Even if someone look all over the continent, they won't be able to find anyone of Rayon's age who has already achieved expert level. The devil annoyingly tells him that only idiots consider age on the battlefield. Age doesn't matter, weak is still weak. But surprisingly, Rayon doesn't argue back, but he accepts what the devil is saying. He says that even he knows that no one goes easy on the opponent just because the opponent is young when they are on the battlefield. The devil is still annoyed and further tells Rayon that he is very weak compared to him. Even if Rayon tries, he can't even touch the devil's fingernail. But Rayon smiles and tells that he also agrees with the devil. Then devil questions that if you know that you are still so weak, then why you are able to smile like this. To this, Rayon replies that because he is happy. In his past life, he was nowhere near this level. He replies that even you know that I have grown somewhat. Hearing this, the devil becomes speechless and he doesn't know what he should reply to Rayon. He starts to throw a tantrum like a little child and says that why would he praise a human, he will never do that to him. Rayon roasts him and says that don't get so mad on such small things. Rayon says that he heard the devil's voice shake a little, so it confirms to him that he has become stronger. They both have been together with each other for long enough to know these small details. But devil doesn't accept this. He tells Rayon that a human like you who can see through my behavior should deserve more than death. Now he tries to freeze Rayon with his power, but that doesn't affect Rayon at all. He smiles and tells that this kind of rage is nothing for him now. He claims that if the demon doesn't get his power again, then he will easily manch on him. Now we see the typical devil's useless trash talk, and he starts to reminisce again by saying Rayon's attitude reminds him of himself in the old days. He starts to tell his story that back in his days in the demon realm, there were demons who came to challenge him, but before he can continue his story, Rayon starts to walk away from here. Their relation is like the relation of Tom and Jerry. Sometimes they fight, sometimes they laugh together. Let's see how their relation will grow in the future. The next day in the training hall, the headmaster tells everyone that the training for today is over and they can go now. But Burren stops the headmaster Limer and reminds him that he himself has come 20 minutes late, so shouldn't all the students go 20 minutes past the usual time. But the lazy headmaster tries to sneak his way out and tells everyone that they will make up for it tomorrow, and it is enough for the day. And he runs away from here. We haven't still seen the actual power of Headmaster Limer yet, but I know he can be a lot stronger, but he is not at all responsible. Now Rayon gathers all the students around him and tells them to finish up the training, and the one in charge for today should start the cleanup now. We see Dorian goes to a locker to pick up cleaning stuff, but as soon as he closes the locker, he notices that Martha was giving him cold stares. He gets really afraid and screams, trying to run away from her, but she catches him. She is annoyed by him and tells him to quickly finish cleaning up everything together because she is already busy enough with her training. He is cold and shouts on other students and tells them to quickly get out from here. This makes Rayon realize that she is only calm towards him, and even the headmaster was standing behind him confirms that she is unchanged. She only switches up around Rayon. Rayon turns behind and is confused to see Headmaster Limer here because he had run away from here just now. He asks the headmaster the same, and headmaster goes in front and tells everyone that he has come back for some reason. The students standing there are a little bit afraid and scared to know what he is about to say. They all question, what did he forget? The headmaster gather all around here and announces them to listen carefully. He claims that there is something else he has to announce, and it is really very important. Students are curious and confused to know what it is this time, and the headmaster tells them that there is a second mission for all of them. Hearing this, all the student gets confused and stands still in one place. They don't know how should they react to this. The headmaster laughs and says how could he forget to tell them this important thing. All the students are dumbfounded that how could Headmaster Limer could be so irresponsible that he forgot such an important thing. We get to know that it's already been half a year since the first mission has been completed. Rayon thinks it took longer than expected for the second mission to come. He feels that there are fewer duties for the Ziegharts to handle compared to his past life. Headmaster now further explains them about the second mission. Apparently there has been orc invasions in the southern part of the Zieghart territory, and their mission is to eliminate the orcs who are threatening the villagers, and they should protect the people of the village. In simple words, we can say that their mission is protection of the village and monster raid. Everyone gets excited to hear this news because it is an actual orc raid. They always waited for such kind of mission to arrive. Now they all can show their sword skills and finally test out their swordsmanship skills. Master calls them newbies and grabs the attention by saying that why are they so excited about this mission. They all get confused by headmaster's words, but now the headmaster further explains that the instructor will not be accompanying them on this mission. Only the trainees will go to the village, and they all have to work together to accomplish the mission. Now this was surprising for all of them, but suddenly Burren raises his hand and asks Headmaster that what if they come across a dangerous situation that they cannot handle? What should they do in that situation? To this, the Headmaster replies that it's up to you to handle. If it's a mission you cannot accomplish, then you should know when to give up. That's why the leader's ability to accurately judge a situation is important. He claims that a leader needs to be able to judge what's the best response to the given situation should be. Now Dorian raises his hand and asks the headmaster that isn't it bad if we run away from a mission? To be honest, I was actually expecting this question from him. He is such a scaredy cat. Headmaster tells him that normally it is considered bad, but it depends on the situation too. If you all come across one of the 5 demons and manage to escape, then in that situation that would be praiseworthy. Hearing this answer from the headmaster makes Dorian happy, because now he knows that running away won't get him into trouble, and seeing his reaction, Burren is confused and speechless. Now the headmaster drops the actual bomb by saying that they all have to leave the day after tomorrow. They all are stunned and speechless to hear this because they have to leave in 2 days, and this is not an easy mission. Every student is confused, and they ask Headmaster Limer why they have such little time and why they are rushing too much. Some students say that it's already nighttime, so basically they have just 1 day left. Headmaster Limer tells them that there are many things they need to prepare for the monster raid compared to guarding or dungeon exploration missions. That means this mission will be more difficult than dungeon exploration missions. Headmaster suggests they prepare well beforehand because if they do not, they could cause damage to the village. They should be careful about it. After hearing this, Burren gets agitated and tells Limer they couldn't prepare better beforehand because the headmaster himself hasn't told them about this early. But suddenly, he looks back where Rayon was standing. Rayon was instructing all the students that Headmaster Limer has always told them that they won't know when or how they'll get the mission. He tells them that this isn't the time they should be panicking. Instead, they should use this time to prepare because the more time they waste in worrying, the less time they will have to prepare. All the students agree with Rayon, and they understand that what Rayon is saying is totally correct. And Limer seems happy that Rayon understands the situation. He smiles a bit looking at Rayon and tells everyone that they should get moving fast. Then he gives a brief introduction of the mission to all the trainees. He tells them that orcs are much more aggressive and stronger than they can expect. It's more difficult fight compared to the fights they have had till now. And not to forget that orcs are much larger in size than a normal human. He tells them that there are a lot of them, so they are also outnumbered, which means they have to fight a huge group of orcs. And even headmasters will not go with them. This mission can be difficult for them. Headmaster Limer tells them that it might be hard to fight the orcs head-on in the state where they are right now, meaning they are not really prepared to fight someone like orc monsters. He also tells them that it will be more advantageous for them to fight with the focus on evading their attacks rather than defending. That means they should not defend. Instead, they should evade the attack or run away from the attack. He concludes the meeting and tells them to gather all their stuff and meet here after 2 days. And now we see that Rayon goes to his home. He had already prepared a small bag with all the required stuff he needs for the mission. He had also placed a lightweight spell on the bag so that the bag doesn't get too heavy. Rayon knows that the headmaster has already made it clear in his training hall that he won't help them in this mission. Rayon thinks that the headmaster is trying to make them assume that the mission is all up to the trainees. But Rayon doesn't have an issue with it because he knows that he can handle this well on his own. Now the devil comes and scolds Rayon for being arrogant. He tells him that everything doesn't go as he imagined. Any unpredictable thing can happen at any point. Hearing this, Rayon smiles and tells him that he knows that if any unpredictable things will happen, then the devil will surely suggest a bet, and Rayon boldly claims that he will definitely get all the devil's stats points. The devil is annoyed by the overconfidence of Rayon. He says that he just wants to sew Rayon's mouth, but Rayon laughs it off, saying that it won't be possible. Suddenly, there is a knock on Rayon's door, and Rayon wonders who can be visiting him at such a late night. But as soon as he opens the door, he is shocked and can't believe who the person in front of him is. He doesn't believe his eyes and says, "Mom," and we see Sylvia giving an angry look to Rayon. She is looking angry at something, and she scolds Rayon by saying that he should at least let her know if he is going on a mission. Rayon asks in hesitant voice how did she get to know about the mission. He asks if Doreen told her about this too. Sylvia doesn't respond quickly, and she stares at him, pretty sure that Rayon is going to get an earful of scolding right now. She tells him that Headmaster Limer has told her about the mission, and we can see that Rayon is really angry with Headmaster. Rayon apologizes to Sylvia for not informing about his mission, and we can see the sadness in Sylvia's eyes. She holds the hand of Rayon and calls his name. She also understands the situation of Rayon and consoles him, saying that being head student means a lot more than just being the representative. She tells that you need to lead the other trainees into a better path. Now we can see the eyes of Sylvia, which were angry before, but now we can see they look concerned, filled with concerns towards her child. She suggests that Rayon shouldn't be carrying out the missions on his own. He needs to put his fellow trainees in the right spot or positions. This is crucial to minimize damage and lead everyone to success in the mission. She claims that his friends' lives will depend on the choices he will make on the battlefield. Rayon understands the stuff she is telling him, but he thought that she is here to give him some lectures and scolding. But instead, she is giving him advice. He seems confused by Sylvia's reaction, but still, he is taking all the information as notes in his mind, which is provided by Sylvia. She stresses that monster raid may seem simple but are actually rather difficult, so he should make sure to eliminate every single orc so that the villagers' safety is ensured. She puts her hand on Rayon's shoulder and shows that she trusts and believes in him. She suggests him to remember that when he is on a mission, he is no longer just a trainee but a Sieghart swordsman. She wants to see how good of a swordsman Rayon is. She tells that she would like him to show her that he is a swordsman who represents all the ideals of the Sieghart family. Rayon tells her in a low, hesitant voice that he thought that she is here to yell at him. Now we see the angry Sylvia, who is actually really mad at Rayon. She says that she is worried and really frustrated with Rayon for not informing about the mission. But she comes near him and hugs him. She tells that this isn't the time to scold him. In a laughing tone, she tells him that he should be prepared to get a proper scolding when he comes back. She is glad that Rayon has gotten a lot brighter after beginning the training. Even though we all know that Sylvia doesn't mean that she will scold Rayon. She means that she just wants to see Rayon come back safely from this difficult and hard mission. She knows Rayon has gotten a lot stronger and powerful. Still, she can never stop worrying about him. Rayon hugs her and comforts her before going to the mission. Now the day of the mission comes, and Headmaster is standing on a podium, instructing all the trainees. He tells them that anything can happen on the mission when they are out there, but they should be cautious as much as they can. He suggests that they can even fall back if they think the situation is too much for them to handle. Everyone is in much enthusiasm and agrees to Limer. Now Headmaster Limer sits down comfortably and tells them that it will take a month usually, but since they have created a road for them, it should take them about 2 weeks. He wishes them good luck for the mission. From here, Rayon takes the command on trainees and tells them to get into formation with 4 lines. They have already prepared a system called the buddy system in the morning, and they will use it from now on. Headmaster is sitting behind, observing all the actions of all the trainees, especially Rayon. He is confident in their skills. In his mind he is thinking that he is sure that they all will do very well. Looking at Rayon, he notes that Rayon is not just talented in combat and aura, he also has great abilities in his reasoning abilities. Rayon is commanding all the trainees confidently and very well, and even the trainees listen to him. And because of this, Headmaster is sure that Rayon and others will accomplish this mission with ease and returns. He knows that Rayon is just 15. Still, he has very high expectations of him whenever he sees him. In the end, Rayon tells Doreen and others to check all the items they will bring and the health conditions of all the members before going. Now they all prepare to leave from here. After they leave, one instructor comes near the headmaster and tells him, "Shouldn't we go after them now? With the kind of distance between us, they won't notice if we leave now." But the headmaster denies it and tells him that one of the trainees has too sharp of a sense. The headmaster is talking about Rayon's sense. He says if they leave now, Rayon will sense their departure, and he tells them that he is going to take a nap before going. They are speechless at this. They still question if that is really okay and if they shouldn't leave now. The headmaster is unwavered by their remarks. In a sarcastic way, he tells them that they should worry about the orcs instead because he is too confident in his students. Here, the first season of the Reincarnated Assassin as a Genius Swordsman comes to an end. Season 2 will be made once the manhwa is released. But don't leave just yet because now we will see a short promo for Season 2. We see a very dark and dangerous cave whose gate is filled with the heads of the skeletons of the dead. All the guys here are wearing black cloaks with an eye symbol on their heads. We get to know that even this group is headed to the village where Rayon and other trainees are going. The chief, or we can say their master, commands them by saying that they can kill anyone who gets in their way. To be honest, I was expecting a lot from this season, but they have taken an unexpected turn. Let's see how the story moves in the future. I am pretty sure that now we will get to see the power of Headmaster Limer in the new season. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.